Hey there, skeptics and believers and everyone else in between. Welcome back to another episode of Ghosts in the Machine. And in this episode, we have a challenge. What kind of challenge, you might ask? It's a ghost hunting gadget challenge. Oh, I'm so excited. So about a month ago, I got an email from a gentleman named John, and he was questioning something in an article that I wrote. So in 2017, I wrote an article about the Xbox Kinect, which, if you don't know, it's a gaming kind of controller, but it's actually one of these, and it looks at your movements, and you became the controller for the game, and it's really cool. I got an article about it on Skeptical Inquirer. Go check it out. And I also recently did a video in 2021, last year, on the same kind of content, explaining how the Xbox Kinect works and some of the flaws with it, and then also how ghost hunters were adapting it for their investigations. You know, they were taking it out and they were finding these stick figures, because the Kinect, real Cliff Notes version of how it works, it uses infrared light and it looks at the environment and it picks up players that come into the playing area. And when a player walks into that area, it assigns, well, the software assigns a stick figure to that person. And ghost hunters were taking it out to allegedly haunted places and finding that stick figures were popping up where there were no people. And they were kind of freaking out about it.
Can you see it?
Oh, right there. There's somebody on Laurie's shoulders right now. Yep, he's dancing on Laurie's shoulders.
Nice. Are we recording this?
Yes.
Nice.
So I did an in-depth article, and I also did a video on it, which really demonstrated what was going on here. So in the email that I received from John, he pointed out that in my article, there was a part of it where I pretty much said that the stick figures that pop up with no bodies, they are anchored to one spot. And it's usually because the Xbox was seeing a chair or the end of a sofa or couch. It was seeing a table. It was seeing a book bag or a whole bunch of other things. And it was getting confused and mistakenly putting a stick figure on it. And the stick figures were anchored to that spot. Because, I mean, the Kinect wasn't supposed to move, but it would be anchored. Say, like Leia back here, that it would see her as a figure, and it would put a stick figure on it. And you would see the arms, they would wave about, and the legs might wave about and kick around. But the stick figure itself, the entire body, would be anchored to that spot and wouldn't move around. It would not move around the scene like a normal human being would, playing the game. So that's what I said in my article, and John pointed out that he has recently come across a video which demonstrated exactly that. And I guess the point of his email was that in the beginning he mentions that in my article I say that I had watched over 200 videos, which I did, and it sucked. It sucked. There were so many videos. But basically, out of those 200, not one of the ghost stick figures actually walked around the room. And John had recently come across one that's exactly what was happening. So he sent me a link, and this is a clip from the video that he sent me.
With the holy angels, as already thou hast and beating down the dragon, the ancient serpent, who is the devil and Satan. Do thou make him captive in the abyss, that he may no longer seduce the nations. Amen.
So, a few things about this video. It comes from what's called it's a YouTube channel called Really Haunted. And here's what it looks like. There's a bunch of videos. You can see there's almost a dozen. There's probably a dozen that have these stick figures in them. And then it goes on and on and on. I've seen this guy before. I've seen his videos before. He does a lot of poltergeist type videos that, from my opinion, are staged. There's nothing in his videos that can't be replicated easily with some fishing line or magician's thread or just someone hiding behind a wall and pushing things. But I saw these and I was like, wow, cool. Like this, with the green figure here just walking around, there's no body. That has fluid movement. It looks like a person walking around. So that started bugging me, you know, because I was like, how are they doing this? Let me think about this. And it took me a while to figure out possible ways of doing it. One of the first things that popped into my head, especially after seeing it, was this is probably layers. And that means in video, when you do video production, you have your base video, and then you can put other videos on top of it. Like when I'm doing something like this is an overlay right here. But I shrunk it to, you know, to fit in that space. But it's still overlaid on top. And that's basically like taking one piece of paper, like taking a picture here, and here's your base image, and you're taking this picture and putting it over top, and maybe taking out some of that top picture so that the bottom bleeds through and you can see both images. It's really cool. It's a cool effect, and it's really common. I mean, we do it all the time. But in order to really show how this is done, I needed a Kinect. Version 1, which is here, that's the one I did my article on. That's the one I did my video on last year. But I didn't have version 2, which is this one. And I reached out to friends on social media, and they came through. 2 friends of mine, Dana and Jason, both came through, and I ended up with 2 Xbox version 2s. So I was able to hook them both up and play with them, play with the settings. And it took me about 20 minutes of going through the settings to figure out what was going on. At least what I thought was going on, and I kind of missed something early on. But I'll get to that. Anyway, so here's my first recreation. So in this first recreation, I actually stole clips from Microsoft. So hopefully they don't get mad. But I took video from their demonstrations when the version 2 originally came out. And they had video up that it was all black except for the stick figures. And I thought, this is perfect. I can actually use editing software and key out the black background, and I'll just be left with the stick figures. And it didn't turn out that great because there was some shadowing and artifacts, like dark or black, gray artifacts around the stick figures, which is why I'm hiding these stick figures in the darkest part of this video. So once I got a Kinect to play with, when I got a physical one that I could actually play with, actually I got both on the same day. It was great. I started playing with the settings. I downloaded the software from Microsoft. You can get it directly from the Microsoft websites, and started playing with it and seeing what I could do. And you can get the stick figures with sometimes it has circles around the hands. Every time you're moving the hands, you can turn that off. You can turn off the skeleton, the stick figure on the bodies. You can actually turn that feature off. But I started digging in and realized that there's a sensitivity setting for the infrared light, how much the infrared light is amplified by the sensors. And once I started playing with that, and you can see it in the clip here, that my wife volunteered to dance or strut back and forth on our front path, and you can see her, you can see the stick figure on her, and then I changed the sensitivity where it's much brighter, and then I turn the sensitivity down to 0, and that turns the screen black. But the stick figure still showed up, and I was like, oh, this is probably it. And for me, I kind of lost I lost track of what I was doing because I was so hooked on the footage that I got from Microsoft, which I used in my first attempt to recreate it, that I was like, oh, well, I need a black screen, and that way I can key it out with the chroma key effect. Something you need to understand is that I'm not a professional video editor. Not at all. I'm completely an amateur, and everything that I do, I've learned by just jumping in, pushing buttons, clicking this, clicking that, seeing what happens. I have no formal training whatsoever. But so I got sidetracked. I got tunnel vision. That's what I got. Tunnel vision, thinking that because I used the clips from Microsoft and they were displaying in their demonstrations a black screen with just stick figures on it, colorful stick figures, that's what I needed. And I just could key out the black and I'd be fine. I would be fine. And I kind of was. I had to actually fix a few things because, again, when I took out the black background, and took this transparent, it's kind of transparency. Older people like me will know what a transparency is, but when you had this transparent layer with just a colorful stick figure that you put on top of even a black and white image, or the video that I was shooting, you could see these little dark artifacts around the edges. And I had to do some creative editing where I was feathering it a little bit and blending it and doing all kinds of little filters to take it out. And the end result was actually pretty convincing, as long as I kept it in a black and white kind of setting and kept the scene kind of dark. And so I actually went ahead and did that because I thought I was onto something, and I made this massive video. So I'm going to show it to you here, and you can see that there's tons of different stick figures coming in with no bodies, and it was fun, but I explain it all as I'm doing it. So I hope I'm not repetitive, because I don't remember what I said when I was filming. So here you go. Let's see if we can get a stick figure to pop up right here. There you go. And then it's going to, let's see, pet the dog maybe. The dog that's on the couch over there. Oh, there's another one. Pretty cool. Oh, there's one that goes crawling across the floor. And that pretty much like what we saw in the YouTube video. Not bad. And this is real simple. This is pretty much an overlay. So as you're seeing these various stick figures walk by or walk around without a body to them, it's separate layers. So think of it as taking one video and putting it on top of another video, and then taking another video and putting it on top of that, and it's a green screen effect. It's a chroma key. That's what it's called. Basically, when I film this in black, and I'll show you, I'll insert what that looks like here. But when you film it in black, all you have to do is key out the black, which means you take the black away, and what was black becomes transparent, and all you see is the stick figure, the color of the stick figure. And that way, I can have these stick figures walking around, and it's actually just me. And I'll have. So even though that was pretty good, it wasn't bad. But it wasn't perfect. It wasn't up to my standards, really. I did it really quick. It took me about an hour to do, from setting up until final editing, and I sent it off to the gentleman that had emailed me originally and said, hey, here, look, I recreated it, and he was convinced. And I'm glad. I'm happy that I was able to show him that it could be replicated, but it wasn't good enough. And as you can see, side by side with the original video from Really Haunted, the Really Haunted YouTube channel, his videos are brighter. They're a little bit brighter. Mine are a little bit darker. And when it comes down to it, and you enhance the videos that I did, you can see the artifacts. You can see what didn't chroma key out. So there's a lot of black artifacts there that just show that it's a really crappy job, and it bugged the hell out of me. So even though I was kind of satisfied that the people that reached out to me, because there was another gentleman about a month after the initial email that reached out to me, I sent him the same video, and he was convinced. Even though I was able to show, I couldn't let it go. I could not let it go. So I actually went back to this, and I started playing with it again, trying to look at settings, and I noticed that with the IR amplification, there was also another setting for gamma, the gamma channel. And if you changed that, instead of going to an all black screen, it went to an all white screen. And I was like, I wonder if this will do better, because again, I don't know. So I tried it. I recorded my screen for a little bit, and I was like, wow, this is it. I found it. So here's a clip of a stick figure popping up next to me and then sitting in my chair. So enjoy. One. So with that, it came out perfect. I mean, the stick figure is right there, right up at the camera, and you can't see any artifacts, even when I enhance the video. And as you'll see with this little clip that I put together, when you put the two different video clips that I had, one with a black background and one with a white background. And again, these are in the settings of the Xbox Kinect, so anyone can do this. But when you key out the black, you can see that there's artifacts around it, and it's really messy. It's really crappy. But then when you key out the white on the white background, it comes out beautifully. So that I'm happy. I'm happy that I'm satisfied that I figured it out. And to go a little bit further, because there's always more to do with these videos. I came across one of the videos on his channel, on the Really Haunted, where the stick figure allegedly or seems to pull down a kitchen stool, and I'll show that clip here. So I wanted to see if I could do that. Could I influence an object with just a stick figure? And yeah, you know what? But I made it a little bit creepier. So I have these haunted dolls. I'll show you. Here's one that I make for my wife's crafting business. So I figured, you know what? Let's see if we can make her move around by a stick figure ghost. So check this clip out. And there you have it. I'm pretty much done with this. The challenge was originally if I could recreate this. Is it possible? Because somebody that has no video experience or video editing experience is looking at these videos going, I don't know what the hell's going on. Is this a ghost? This guy says his house is haunted, which he does. In on the Really Haunted YouTube channel, I mean, the guy goes on and on about his house being haunted by so many things, so many demons and ghosts and stuff like that. And then you see videos like this, and for somebody that has no experience, it looks freaky. It could be convincing. So I don't think anyone's stupid. I don't think anyone's just dumb for believing in this stuff. That's not how I approach this thing, this kind of experience. Someone doesn't know, and I'm trying to show you with this video, hopefully I did, how something like this can be replicated. And it's playing with it. It's actually getting the piece of equipment and plugging it into your computer and playing with the settings. See what it does. I mean, I thought I was done, and I thought I had a good video until I played with it a little bit more and realized, oh wow, I missed something. And more research, more testing, I was able to solve this mystery. So as for the videos that are on Really Haunted, that he's demonstrating as using the Kinect and showing that his house is haunted by all these ghosts, in my opinion, it's a hoax. And I think I've demonstrated that it can be done. And if the gentleman, which I think his name is Lee, let me look that up real quick, because I do have his channel hooked up here. And yes, his name is Lee, and he lives over in the UK somewhere. But hey, if we can arrange it, I would love to come by your house and see this live. See you set up your Kinect and see all these alleged ghosts show up. So if there's some way we can arrange it, if you're up for the challenge, I'm in. I'd love to do this. But otherwise, I think you're trying to scam people. So shame on you. Anyway, so that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. And, you know, that's the point. Never stop learning. And I'll see you next time.